in this session, we will talk about some listening and reading tasks. So we'll focus on some practical ways to build students' confidence with these kinds of tasks. And we'll talk about why real English is tricky. You know, how to go beyond just teaching words and how to give students the skills they need to understand real conversations and texts, like guessing from context, listening to the main idea, yes, and we'll also look at some easy activities you can use in class right away, and how to help students to learn on their own so they can keep improving even when they are not in class. So, and here, before we dive into the details, I would like to ask you a question. So we all know our students struggle with real English, but every class is different. So now let's think for a moment, and you can see the question. So I just ask you to type in the chat box your ideas, like what's the biggest challenge your students face when dealing with authentic listening and reading materials? Maybe, I don't know, the slang or understanding the main idea. Let's see, or something else. Accents, okay. Pronunciation, speed of speech, lack of words, okay. Culture, vocabulary level, understanding, collocations, Yeah, so actually, keeping the attention to the audio, understanding vocabulary, again, pronunciation, new words. Yeah, so you know that speed, actually, let's think just like this. So we've got a conversation, yes, in a movie or a podcast where people talk quickly, and our students might catch a few words, but the overall flow can be overwhelming for them, yeah, and again, vocabulary, like idioms, yeah, different phrases. So students try to understand, let's say, head out or chill out for the first time. And they might know, like, the individual words, but the meaning is completely different in this context. So, or just think about the idiom, it's raining cats and dogs, right? So sometimes it can be really difficult to grasp the meaning. And another big challenge is accents. Yeah, hearing different accents can be really confusing, even if students know their vocabulary, and it's a big challenge because just think about a British accent and an Australian accent, like not completely different accents, but it's pretty hard to understand. Okay, so let's just dive into these challenges a bit more. So you all brought up some really nice, important points. But let's talk in detail about fast speech and the right accent. So imagine your students is watching a YouTube video, yeah, of a conversation between two people from different parts of the United Kingdom. And one has rapid London accent, and the other one has this slow Scottish accent. And it's like they are listening to two completely different languages, and research shows that a native speaker talks about 200 words per minute. But when people are excited or maybe in a hurry, it can be much faster. And it's not just about speed, though. Accents are crucial. And there are hundreds of regional accents in English, and each one has its own pronunciation and reason. And it can be a real hurdle for learners. So we need to train students' ears to these different sounds. Then complex sentence structure. So do you remember these sentences with clauses inside clauses and phrases that seem to go on forever? Yeah. And students might understand each word, but they can't see how they all fit together. So we need to teach them how to break down these sentences, to see how the pieces fit together. And speaking about unfamiliar vocabulary, so it's the classic challenge. Again, it's not just about knowing individual words. It's about idioms and phrases. And like break a leg, it means good luck. But if you take it like seriously, it's terrible advice. So the same with the other words, like the verb run, or like the word. Yeah, let it be just the word run. So it has multiple meanings. It can be it can mean physical running, right? Or running a business, or running a program. And students need to learn not just the dictionary definitions, but also they need to learn how the words are used in context. And speaking about cultural references and background knowledge, so there are lots of jokes, yeah, stories, even everyday conversations often relied on shared knowledge. And there are lots of talks about American football or British politics. So if the students don't know their background, yeah, some jokes fall flat. So it's like understanding or trying to understand the story without knowing the setting. So again, we need to help our students build that background knowledge to understand their cultural context that shapes language. And the last one, dealing with large amounts of information. So some texts that can be really long, like articles, and students struggle to remember the main points, and they might understand some parts, but they lose their overall picture of the text, like the overall meaning. So again, we need to teach them how to take notes, how to skim, to scan, how to identify the key points, the key information, and how to summarize the information. Okay, so okay, good. So we need to build foundation skills, right? And we start with the vocabulary, vocabulary pre-teaching. So again, it's it's very important because memorizing lists isn't enough in this case. So we need to pre-teach vocabulary in a way that makes sense in context. So let's imagine that students are going to listen to a podcast about climate change, and if we give just simple words, just a list of words like deforestation, or something like this, they might still struggle with the meaning. They will struggle to understand how this word is used in this podcast. So instead, you can use pictures or videos. You know that MM publications force books, so they go with the videos, and each module, yes, starts with the video. And so you can do just like this. You can ask students to predict how the words might be used in the listening or maybe reading task. And this will help them build, let's say, a mental process, a mental maybe picture, associated with the vocabulary, because it is not just definition, it is understanding. And our students don't come to us as blank slates, so they have their own experiences, their knowledge, their opinions, and we need to tap into that. So activating background knowledge helps them make connections and grasp new information. So again, you can ask open-ended questions about the topic before they start listening or reading, or ask them to brainstorm ideas, or maybe share some personal experiences. And for example, if the listening is about a news story, so you can ask your students if they heard any news lately, and what they know about this topic, so you can use it as warming up activity. So it prepares the mind, and we need to teach our students how to listen and read actively. So just teach them how to listen for the main idea, not just every word, and you can show them how to guess the meaning of unfamiliar words from context, and again practice skimming and scanning techniques. And for listening activity, it's important to pay attention to intonation and pauses, to stresses, and for reading activities, we need to teach them how to identify keywords and phrases. Okay, so and for listening, comprehension, pronunciation is important, and it's not just like textbook English. So spoken English is different, and we need to help our students recognize and understand the sounds of spoken English. So again, they can practice listening to different accents, yes, and speech patterns, and pay attention to common pronunciation challenges. And so you can use different activities and techniques. Here, it's to do everything to help your students understand spoken English better. Okay, so let's have a look. Here we've got the topic, the solar system, and space. So you start with the images, right? You can ask questions like, what do you see? Something very simple. Just ask students to describe what they see in the pictures, and they can use their own words and make this observation. And you can ask your students what these images have in common, right? And then they can identify their connection. So they these images, they are all related to space and the solar system. And again, you can ask about words that come to mind when they see these pictures. Again, they can write their responses on the board, and it can be just a quick brainstorming session. And then you can connect the vocabulary words like star, galaxy, planet, yeah, and some others to the images. And you can ask if they can match any words to pictures before they do the matching activity. And in this way, it activates their prior knowledge. Then we've got the quiz. So just present the quiz questions. You can use them as starters, yes, to start conversations. So, for example, you can ask your students which planet is called the red planet, okay? And maybe someone knows the answer, yeah? And you can ask about the average temperature on the Neptune, on different planets, and they can guess if it's hot or cold, yeah? And maybe even explain why. So, also connect it to their personal experiences. For example, you can ask them, have you ever looked at the stars or the moon? And they can tell you about their own observations. So before the listening activity, you can ask your students to draw a Venn diagram. They need to draw two overlapping circles and label one circle Mars and the second one Neptune. And at this point, students gather information about these planets. And this quiz identifies Mars as the red planet, and the students can add the information they have learned before that Mars is a rocky planet, yeah, and it has a thin atmosphere, and it's relatively cold. And then they will do the same for other planets, Neptune, and they can refer to their background knowledge and write that Neptune is very cold, yes, and it's a gas giant, and it is very far from the sun. And then they've got this overlapping section, like this part for similarities, and here they can write that what these planets have in common, that they are planets, yeah, or they are part of our solar system. So you can use this diagram to activate background knowledge, yeah, or to summarize after completing the task or the quiz or reading the text, whatever. So this is really a cool technique that that you may use. And again, after that, after reading the text or after let's say listening to this quiz, your students can do additional research and find out some facts about these planets. They can find information about their size, yeah, or maybe add some other characteristics. Okay, so, and when we talk about reading comprehension, it's helpful to understand that there are different ways our brains process text, and one of those ways is called bottom-up model or approach, as you like. So essentially, it's about decoding the text piece by piece, and students start by recognizing letters and sounds, and then move to understanding words, phrases, and sentences, and finally, they come up to the entire understanding of their text. And this approach is useful for students who learn English as a second language. And you can teach vocabulary, focusing on word families, suffixes, yeah, something like this, root words. And at this point, you can use activities like word matching, gap filling exercises, whatever. And students can review basic grammar, such as sentence structure, verb tenses, parts of speech, and again, you can ask your students to analyze grammatical elements in sentences. And you can teach students how to break down complex sentence into smaller parts. Again, practicing how to identify the main idea and supporting details in this kind of sentences. And we'll also have top-down models which show the importance of prior knowledge and the expectations in the reading process. So this kind of model suggests that that readers use their knowledge of the world and the language to predict what will happen next in this text, and then they use predictions to guide their reading. And top down model helps us with the why. Yeah, so why those words are being used and what they mean in the bigger picture. And bottom up model answers the question what. So what the words actually say. And we can combine these two models to get a better understanding, to get a deeper understanding of the text. But there is also interactive model, and again, this is a blended approach to teaching reading, because here we've got bottom-up and top-down models, and it remains the main model used by teachers around the world today. And for example, your students, from looking at the title of the text, they should have some expectations and about the type of the story, and they can use their prior knowledge to help them understand the meaning of every word. And in our teaching, we should aim to give our students practice with both kinds of strategies. So interactive model is the top. And then we've got skimming, scanning, and close reading. So some specific strategies that we can teach our students, and they will help them to tackle with the complex text. So again, skimming is like getting a quick overview of a text. So let's say your students are looking at a long article or text in the textbook, and they don't have time to read every word, but they need to know what this text is about, and skimming helps them to do that. Yeah, and they can look at the title, headings, they can read the first and the last paragraphs, or they look at any bold words, or maybe images, and this way they've got this idea, like main idea, and they decide if they need to read the text in more detail, and if they want to find out some specific information, then scanning will help them. So scanning is about different dates, yeah, numbers, or maybe names, something like this. Again, they don't read every sentence. They look for the target information. And here we've got close reading. It's like digging in the text, you know, in order to understand the nuances. So at this point, students can read the text carefully, slowly, and they pay attention to the author's word choices, yeah, and sentence structure, and they look for patterns. They analyze the text, and again, this way they develop critical thinking skills. So let's say that we skim the text, yeah. So we need to identify one or two sentences that give like the main idea of the entire text, and here you've got like the first part, I guess, of this long text about asteroids. So and we can identify these kind of sentences, and when we scan the text, so we pay attention to different numbers, like something like this. And speaking about close reading, in order to study the text better, yeah, you can choose this sentence, or you can try with your students another, maybe not activity, but let it be a strategy, something like this. You can give your students a printed copy of this text, yeah, or any other text that you read during the lesson, and they can use highlighters, scissors, or pens, so they can highlight the keywords or phrases, underline important sentences, and even cut out sections they find interesting. So they work with the text. Yes, they can draw pictures or different images next to parts of the text, and then you can ask them to share their text sculptures with the class, and explain their choices. Or there is also a dialogue activity. So it's something you can do with your students. They can take the text about asteroids and turn it into a dialogue, yeah, between two asteroids, discussing what they see on Earth, yeah? And your students can be creative and use the information from the text to make it funny, or maybe dramatic. So this way they process information in a way. Okay, and Okay. Speaking about listening strategies, so you know that the students can listen for a gist or for specific information they can predict, right? And take some notes or identify keywords, and it's totally true. It's okay. And here you've got the activity, and obviously it's listening. So and the classical model approach will be something like this. So you start with pre-listening, yes? So to activate prior knowledge. And maybe you start with a brief discussion about space, about astronauts, something like this. And after that, your students start predicting. They might predict what they hear in the audio based on the picture and the vocabulary. And after that, you've got the first listening, right? So they listen for the main idea or the main topic of the conversation, and they choose the best answers. And then we've got the second listening. They may take some notes on specific details. And after that, there is post-listening part when they review the correct answer and have got this maybe short discussion. Yeah. And you can do, or you can use another approach. So you can divide your students into small groups and assign each group one of the key vocabulary words, like spaceship or moon landing, astronaut, something like this. And each group needs to research their assigned word and prepares a brief explanation, or maybe provides a visual aid to share with their classmates. And as a class, students discuss and share their predictions about what the audio might be about. And then they've got their first listening, and at this point they can take individual notes. Yep. And so before second listening, you divide students into new groups based on their initial answer choice, whether it's A, B, or C. And students share their notes and discuss their information they heard, trying to reconstruct the dialogue or the audio. Yeah? And each group prepares a justification for their answer choice, and based on their shared information, then they present their answer, their choice, and use evidence from the audio. Okay, so 40 minutes. Okay. So as you can see, so there were some examples taken from the textbook, Portal to English, and science. Actually, you can combine these two course books in order to make your English lessons more interactive and interesting. So you can even teach science subjects in English using this textbook. So if you want to find out more about vector textbooks, you can contact me, and I will be very happy to help you. Okay, so thank you very much